Ever stop and think about how some of the most iconic fashion staples we rock today were never meant to be fashionable? Like, seriously, the stuff that's now plastered all over Instagram and worn by your favorite celebs started out as gear for construction workers, coal miners, and even soldiers.
I mean, who would have thought that a pair of boots designed for a dude with a broken foot or a cap made for British factory workers would end up defining entire subcultures and streetwear scenes?
Hi everyone, welcome back to The Curious Past, the channel where we uncover the strange, forgotten, and downright fascinating corners of history. I'm Shan.
And I'm Danny, and today we're tackling a question that's been bugging us. How did some of the most iconic fashion brands go from who's wearing that to where can I get that?
We're talking about five brands that somehow stumbled their way into style royalty: Levi's, Dr. Martens, Carhartt, Timberland, and Kangol. Each of these companies started with a totally different purpose in mind and somehow ended up on the backs of celebrities, musicians, and, let's be honest, probably you.
These brands didn't just stumble into the spotlight, they bulldozed their way in, becoming symbols of rebellion, resilience, and raw style. They're not just clothes, they're cultural revolutions that started with practicality and utility in mind.
So if you've ever rocked a pair of ducks lived in your Carhartt jacket or owned a Kangol bucket hat, this is the story of how your wardrobe became a piece of history.
Let's get into it because fashion history is about to get a whole lot more fascinating.
It's a name that's synonymous with denim. You probably own a pair of Levi's jeans or at least know someone who does. But did you know their story begins not in a fashion studio, but in the rough and tumble world of the California Gold Rush?
Picture this: thousands of hopeful folk from all walks of life stampeding to California in search of that shiny yellow stuff. They weren't exactly packing designer luggage. Nope, they were armed with picks, shovels, dreams bigger than their boots, and a whole lot of grit.
Now, these fellas weren't exactly gentle on their clothes. Imagine spending your days knee deep in muddy riverbeds, wrestling with rocks, and swinging a pickaxe like you're trying to win a very aggressive game of whack a mole. Your fancy silk trousers? Forget about it. They'd last about as long as a snowflake in a sauna.
Enter the hero of our story. In 1853, a dry goods merchant named Levi Strauss came to San Francisco to sell supplies to the miners. He quickly realized that what they really needed were durable pants that could withstand the rigors of gold panning and that wouldn't fall apart after a week of hard labor.
Strauss, the ever enterprising businessman, teamed up with tailor Jacob Davis to reinforce pants with rivets. And so, the iconic blue denim jeans were born. Initially as sturdy workwear, made with tough denim and reinforced with rivets.
These weren't designed to be a fashion statement, they were built to last. But fast forward, and these super practical blue collar pants became the uniform of rebels. Cowboys wore them, factory workers wore them, then, out of nowhere, rock stars, punks, and basically every counterculture movement in the 20th century went, yes, these pants that were designed for dudes shoveling dirt, we want them.
Actor James Dean turned Levi's into a teenage rebellion uniform. Then, punk rock and grunge fully claimed them in the 70s and 90s. And now, we're paying extra for holes and distressed fabric. Somewhere, a 19th century miner is rolling in his unwashed, perfectly intact pair of Levi's.
Ultimately, Levi's didn't set out to be a global fashion powerhouse, but their commitment to durability and a timeless design made them exactly that. It's a true testament to how something born out of necessity can become a cultural icon. As a matter of fact, in 2022, a pair of Levi's jeans from the 1880s sold at an auction in New Mexico for more than $87,400, one of the highest prices ever paid for a pair of denims.
Now, while that legendary durability is still part of the Levi's story, if you've ever felt like your modern pair isn't quite the same as those vintage ones, you're not alone. Like many big brands, Levi's has had to evolve in a competitive world. To keep those price tags in check and offer a wider range of styles, they've made some changes. Think less of the super heavy denim of the past and maybe a bit more focus on comfort and stretch with different materials.
So while they might not be built to last a literal lifetime like those old school pairs, Levi's jeans are still a classic for a reason. And hey, for the denim purists out there, some folks wear that raw denim Levi's today can still give you that old school, tough as nails feel.
But the bottom line, they're still Levi's. And that heritage of practicality and enduring style, it's still woven into every pair.
Next up, let's stomp our way into the story of Dr. Martens. The boots with air cushioned soles and that unmistakable yellow stitching. They're a staple in wardrobes worldwide, but what are their origins? Let's just say they're far from punk rock.
You'd never guess it from the people who wear them now, but Dr. Martens were originally designed for injured old men.
The story starts in post World War II Germany with Dr. Klaus Martens. Imagine this: Martens injures his ankle skiing because apparently even doctors can't avoid bad luck, and realizes his standard issue military boots are about as comfortable as walking on bricks. So, what does he do? He invents a boot with air cushioned soles to help his recovery. Basically, orthopedic shoes before orthopedic shoes were cool.
Fast forward a few years, and these comfy boots caught on with factory workers for their durability. But then something unexpected happened. Dr. Martens got hijacked by rebellion.
In the late 20th century, the boots became a symbol of counterculture, embraced by skinheads, punks, goths, grunge kids, you name it. These groups turned what was essentially an old man shoe into an anti establishment icon. Punks wore them to smash norms and occasionally kick in doors. Goths paired them with black velvet everything, and grunge kids stomped through muddy concert fields in them like they were born to rebel.
Even rock legends like Pete Townsend of The Who helped elevate Docs to stardom. When he wore them on stage as a rejection of psychedelic fashion trends, suddenly these boots weren't just practical, they were cool.
Now, you see influencers rocking dogs at coffee shops or festivals, and you can buy a pair for triple the price because nothing says rebellion like capitalism.
But here's the thing, like Levi's, many longtime wearers argue that modern Dr. Martens aren't quite what they used to be. Vintage pairs from the 80s were heavier, sturdier, and made with higher quality leather. Today's versions, they've got more comfort-focused materials, but might wear down faster than their predecessors.
Still, millions of pairs are sold every year, proving that even boots designed for injured ankles can become symbols of individuality and rebellion through surprising associations.
Whether you're stomping through muddy fields or just trying to look cool at brunch, Dr. Martens are proof that practicality can become iconic. And sometimes all it takes is one rebellious step to change everything.
Alright, let's move from stomping around in rebellious boots to something equally sturdy but maybe a little less fashionable in its original intent. We're talking about Carhartt, the brand that basically said, we're building stuff, not runaways.
If you've ever seen someone sporting a Carhartt jacket or that iconic beanie, you know it screams, I get things done. And that, my friends, is exactly where this workwear warrior got its start.
Let's time travel back to 1889. The Industrial Revolution is in full swing and folks are getting their hands dirty. Enter Hamilton Carhart, a man with a vision for pants that could handle more than a gentle stroll to the corner store.
He set out to outfit the hardworking railroad workers with gear that could survive sparks, grease, the relentless sun, and probably a few accidental train encounters. Think thick, tough fabric that laughed in the face of wear and tear. Functionality and longevity were the name of the game. Forget about looking good, the priority was getting the job done.
And for a good long while, Carhartt stayed firmly planted in the world of hard labor. You'd see it on construction sites, in factories, and maybe at your local truck stop. It was the uniform of the people who built things. Literally.
But then something wonderfully unexpected happened. Much like our rebellious boot friends, Carhartt got a second life. A whole new crew of admirers. The 90s rolled around and suddenly skaters and the burgeoning streetwear scene started adopting this rugged gear. Why? Because it was cheap, it was practically indestructible and, let's be honest, It looked pretty darn cool in a I don't care what I look like, I just want to shred kind of way. Perfect for wiping out on concrete and still looking like you could fix a bridge.
But then things got really weird. The hipsters arrived, and suddenly the same jackets and beanies that were keeping lumberjacks warm were becoming ironic staples for folks sipping artisanal coffee in Brooklyn.
You could almost hear the ghosts of factory workers scratching their heads, and now? Carhartt is even doing high end collaborations with luxury brands. Imagine explaining that to a grizzled 1920s factory worker. He'd probably just shrug and ask where the nearest rivet supply store is.
The point is, the same no nonsense toughness that made Carhartt ideal for manual labor also gave it a certain undeniable cool factor in a more urban, fashion conscious world. It's a brand that truly embodies the idea that if you build something to last, it might just end up being the most stylish thing around, even if it wasn't the original plan. It's a testament to how function, when done right, can unexpectedly become the ultimate fashion statement.
Alright, let's lace up our metaphorical boots and head to the concrete jungle because we're talking about Timberland. Those iconic yellow kicks that practically yell New York City in the 90s. You know the ones. But their story? It's less about strutting down a runway and more about keeping your toes dry on a construction site.
Now picture a Ukrainian shoemaker named Nathan Swartz, way back in 1918. Fast forward to 1973, and his son Sydney kicks things into high gear with the birth of the Timberland boot. But the real why behind these legendary stompers is as straightforward as a hammer hitting a nail.
The Abington Shoe Company, the folks who would eventually become Timberland, were all about one thing: keeping your feet comfortable and dry in the often miserable New England weather. Founded in 1952, they were the ultimate purveyors of function. They even cooked up a clever injection molding technique to make those boots truly waterproof, a game changer for anyone working outdoors in the rain and muck.
And for a good while, that was the deal. Solid, dependable boots for the hard-working folks who needed them. Nothing flashy, just keeping your feet from turning into soggy sponges.
Then, the late 80s and early 90s hip hop scene happened, and suddenly these utilitarian yellow boots got a serious style upgrade. Rappers like Biggie, Tupac, and the Wu-Tang Clan took one look at these sturdy, no-nonsense kicks and declared them the footwear equivalent of a mic drop. Boom! Those yellow Tims were everywhere, in music videos, plastered on album covers, and pounding the pavements of cities everywhere.
The legend goes that even Busta Rhymes wouldn't step on stage without his matching Timberlands. To every wild outfit after his 1997 music video, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See, where a costume designer even gave a pair the lame treatment. Talk about a glow up.
The funniest part? Timberland was probably just scratching their heads, wondering why everyone suddenly wanted to wear their work boots to the club. But when the demand went through the roof, they were smart enough to embrace the trend. Now, those yellow Tims are a cultural staple, worn by folks who've probably never even seen a construction site up close.
So, from keeping the feet of hardworking folks dry to becoming a symbol of urban cool, Timberland's journey is a prime example of how pure practicality can unexpectedly become a global fashion phenomenon. It's a brand that proves that sometimes the most stylish thing you can wear is the one that was just trying to do its job.
Now, if you thought the leap from work boots to fashion was a head scratcher, prepare to have your mind blown by the story of Kangol. This brand's journey is less a fashion evolution and more like a full-blown style metamorphosis. Trust me, it's a wild ride.
The time is 1938 in the UK. A Polish immigrant named Jacques Spriergin sets up shop. Their main hustle? Hats for the army. We're talking military berets, folks. Think soldiers marching, not strutting down a catwalk.
The name itself is a bit of a practical word salad. K from the word silk, ANG for Angora wool, and the OL from the word wool. Straightforward, functional, and not designed to set the fashion world on fire.
Kangol might just be the most delightfully unexpected transformation on our list. They were churning out practical headwear for soldiers, golfers who needed sun protection, and your average Joe trying to keep their ears warm.
There was absolutely nothing hip or cool about them in the traditional sense. Unless you consider wartime fashion a major trend, and let's be honest, it wasn't exactly known for its glamour.
Then the 1980s hit like a sonic boom and the hip hop scene exploded onto the world stage. And guess what accessory became a must have for the coolest cats in the game? The humble Kangol bucket hat. Suddenly, Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC, the legendary LL Cool J, Slick Rick, basically every rapper who was anyone in the golden age of hip hop was rocking a Kangol like it was the crown jewels.
The brand's cool factor went into overdrive thanks to movies like New Jack City in 1991, and who can forget Samuel L. Jackson's signature look, forever cementing the Kangol beret as a symbol of effortless style and attitude.
From military functionality to a key accessory in music videos and on the streets, it's a prime example of how a practical item can completely reinvent itself and become a cultural icon in the most wonderfully bizarre way.
So, from the battlefield to the boombox, Kangol proves that sometimes the most iconic style statements are the ones you'd least expect. They took a hat designed for keeping heads warm in a foxhole and turned it into the ultimate symbol of cool. Now that's what I call a plot twist in the fashion world.
So there you have it. From boots built for bad ankles to jackets designed to make it to the end of time. These brands prove that the most enduring styles often come from the most unexpected places. They weren't chasing trends, they were just trying to make something that worked. And look where they ended up.
I guess the moral of the story is if you're a brand making tough stuff for tough jobs, just sit back and wait. Eventually, the cool kids will catch on, and your practical gear will become the ultimate "I'm not trying, but I look amazing" statement. It's a little bit hilarious, isn't it? The clothes that were once the uniform of hard labor are now the badge of effortless cool.
And honestly, there's something kind of poetic about that. Fashion has a funny way of taking the everyday and turning it into something, well, extraordinary. Whether it makes sense or not, it just happens.
So next time you see someone sporting that rugged jacket or those iconic boots at your local cafe, just remember that piece of clothing has a story. A story that probably started with someone needing to get a job done, not look good doing it. And that, my friends, is a pretty cool thought.
What other brands out there have a backstory that'll make you go, wait, that's how it started? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this little trip down unexpected fashion lane, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell for more curious tales from the past. Thanks for hanging out, and as always, stay curious.